10 weird things about SpaceX's Starlink internet satellites. Even though Starlink satellites frequently make the news, there are a lot of strange facts concerning Starlink that are overlooked. Among the most well-known spacecraft in the entire globe are SpaceX's Starlink satellites. Currently, there are more than 3,000 Starlink satellites in orbit, and SpaceX intends to launch a significant number more. While many other uses for the groundbreaking constellation are planned for and already in place, the satellite's primary purpose is to bring broadband internet to be isolated or underserved areas. While Starlink satellites frequently garner media attention due to the staggering number of launches SpaceX manages each year, there is a ton of bizarre facts regarding Starlink that go unnoticed. Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we will be sharing 10 weird things about SpaceX's Starlink internet satellites. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's begin. In Antarctica, Starlink is available. Even in some of the most isolated regions of the world, like Antarctica, Starlink internet service is accessible. At the research outpost at McMurdo Station, the United States Antarctic Program, USAP scientists have conducted tests. With its maiden launch from California's Vandenberg Space Force Base in September 2021, SpaceX started launching satellites into polar orbit. The statement on the independence of Mars from Starlink. If SpaceX reaches Mars and establishes service there, the firm will have complete independence from any authority on Earth, according to a clause in the Starlink Terms of Service. The Starlink Terms of Service stated that for services performed on Mars, or in transit to Mars via Starship or other spacecraft, the parties recognize Mars as a free planet and that no Earth-based government has jurisdiction or sovereignty over Martian operations. Therefore, conflicts will be resolved by self-governing principles established in good faith at the time of the Martian settlement. According to statements made by business executives, SpaceX intends to land humans on Mars before the decade's end. Starlink uses the Linux open source operating system. According to a SpaceX resource page, the open source operating system Linux is used by Starlink satellites. Linus Torvalds, a Finnish software developer, developed Linux in 1991, intending to develop a free, openly shared operating system that can be customized for users' unique computer hardware. Because Linux can be easily customized by nature, it is perfect for certain use cases like Starlink satellites. Furthermore, Linux-based operating systems have access to a global library of open-source applications and tools, allowing for the quick prototyping of new hardware and software. Starlink 2.0 is much bigger. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, recently allowed SpaceX to launch 7,500 Starlink 2.0 satellites. According to reports, these second-generation Starlink satellites are bigger and more powerful than their predecessors. According to Musk, Starlink 2.0 satellites weigh 2,755 pounds, 1,250 kilograms compared to the first-generation Starlink satellites' 573 pounds, 259 kilograms. At some point, SpaceX will start employing Starship, their enormous new Mars and Moon rocket, to launch these larger Starlinks into orbit. Though the Starlink is still in development, SpaceX will conduct an orbital test shortly. Starlink satellites connect via lasers. At the 36th Annual Space Symposium in 2021, SpaceX Chief Operating Officer Gwynne Shotwell announced that starting that year, all Starlink satellites would be outfitted with laser crosslinks that allowed for inter-satellite communication. As a result, less reliance is placed on ground stations, and data can be stored across Starlink satellites within a constellation. There is no need to transmit the signal to a ground-based internet network. These laser linkages enable internet traffic to be shared globally among satellites. Starlink constellations can beam internet connectivity to even the most remote locales, including polar regions, thanks to laser crosslinks. The book, The Fault in Our Stars, is where the name Starlink came from. The inventor and CEO of SpaceX claims that John Green's 2012 book, The Fault in Our Stars, is where the moniker Starlink originated. If anyone is interested, the name was inspired by The Fault in Our Stars, Musk wrote in a 2018 tweet. The book's protagonist is 16-year-old Hazel Lancaster, who has terminal cancer. During a cancer support group, Hazel meets Augustus, another youngster with cancer, and the two start dating. The book clarifies that while experiencing emotional anguish is part of being human, we have a choice in who we share that grief. UFO sightings are due to Starlink. Starlink satellite trains might appear very strange in the sky. Starlink satellites can be quite bright when released as they travel to their orbits, despite SpaceX's efforts to make them look less luminous in the night sky. These Starlink trains have frequently been misidentified as UFOs, resulting in headlines as local news stations receive a deluge of inquiries from terrified skywatchers. These sightings raise concerns about being mistaken for UFOs and threaten the dark sky conditions required for astronomy. The International Astronomical Union has urged even the United Nations to take action to safeguard the night sky from Starlink constellations. Starlink has been used by the US Air Force in live-fire exercises. While Starlink is most frequently mentioned for the high-speed internet, it transmits to outlying areas, and the satellite constellation also serves another purpose: connecting military equipment. The Ukrainian military has made substantial use of Starlink during Russia's continuing invasion of Ukraine, but the US military has its plans for the technology. In a live-fire exercise in 2020, the US Air Force and SpaceX collaborated, using Starlink satellites to transmit data with American military assets that shot down a drone and a cruise missile. Since then, SpaceX has developed a Starlink partner project dubbed Starship that will only serve the American military and related organizations. According to SpaceX's Starship page, Starship will provide more security than Starlink, since it has extra high-assurance cryptographic capability to host classified payloads and process data securely, meeting the most strict government requirements. Starling Signals may be reverse engineered to serve as a location. Requests to use the Starlink constellations as a position, navigation, and timing service like GPS have been made to SpaceX in previous years, but CEO Elon Musk has refused them. Reverse engineering Starlink signals allowed a group of academics at the University of Texas at Austin to accomplish this in October 2022. They discovered that a navigation system could be created using the repeating beacon signals from Starlink constellations, intended to assist receivers on the ground in connecting with satellites. It is a framework that is so generic we can apply to any terrestrial or extraterrestrial signal. It will automatically learn, inform you of what is being broadcast, and pinpoint your location. China has simulated destroying Starlink with nuclear blast. Many of the peer rivals of the United States are concerned about the constellations because Starlink satellites are being employed more and more as military hardware. A group of Chinese academics at the Northwest Institute of Nuclear Technology, a plan-run research center, recently published a paper outlining strategies for taking down or otherwise impeding Starlink. Their response? Nuclear weapon explosion in outer space. The South China Morning Post, SCMP, reported that the experts hypothesized that a 10-megaton nuclear explosion would have enough energy to destroy the Earth. According to SCMP, the researchers stated in a paper published in the Chinese journal Nuclear Techniques that the powerful residual radiation of the debris cloud may cause failures of spacecraft traveling in it, such as satellites, or even cause direct damage that can lead to destruction. That is all for this video. We will be back with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time.